Oh my God, you guys, we are finally here. It is July 3rd, which means I'm 2 days late on recording my monthly retro. Huge sorry, but oh my God, the logistical errors we have had in getting to where I am right now would make you guys thank me. So I've been in here all day. I'm in a Cohatch. Shout out to Cohatch Easton. Loving this one now that I'm here in Columbus. There is no AC in this place, and I've been sweating my ass off all day. I think it's like 103 degrees here. I've got a fan pointed at me. It's not doing the trick. I'm in front of a window because that's where the best lighting is, and I am just like, I had continuity camera set up, then it didn't work. Couldn't get this mic to work. I think I have it working. I recorded like 20 minutes of an intro. That did not work. So it is 6:30 on a Friday. I'm usually working at this time anyway. If you guys were here last month, we'll link to May's monthly retro in the card. But I was feeling a little bit down bad on myself. We had a low month of revenue. It was like 8K last month. But this month, I am proud to report things are picking up. We've got a lot to get into do this month. I've been procrastinating on recording this a little bit, but things are definitely looking up, both in business and in life. And I'm excited to share that with you guys this week. So, onto the tool stack. As you guys know, we always start here in Notion. Give us the full at-a-glance view of the past. Okay, I said 26 months last month, but I'm gonna actually go in and count to see how many months that we've actually recorded. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 29 months. Bro, 29 months. June, April, I don't know why it's not in order. That's really annoying. But okay, June of 2026, top line revenue, $21,400 over last month, almost 3x last month. Andy can feel a little bit better about himself now. Going into all the business stats, okay. Top line revenue, $21,400. Business expenses, $5,353. Personal income, $365, all due to dividends, and personal expenses, $18K. And that is because we put a down payment on a house. So that's literally, I think 16K of that is the down payment on the house. So we have some allocated expenses there, but I have the screenshots of each for accountability on the revenue side. And I'm going to go into Monarch Money, talk a little bit about our profit loss. This financial dashboard right here, if you guys are a marketer and you're looking for some more financial visibility, first of all, highly recommend Monarch Money. It's going to give you a great at-a-glance view into your finances, especially if you know how to use it and create these reports. AI can do this as well. Monarch does have an MCP, which just shut down at the end of last month. Silly Monarch. But they do have an MCP server, so you can do these data visualizations within Claude. But I have so much to cover today. I just want to do the high-level financial overview to bring you guys into. So this isn't caught up quite. We have about 3 to 4K in invoices that are still stuck in Stripe per the top of the month. So this is a little bit lagging behind. But I want to go to our dashboard or our home base here so you guys can see how I have a lot of this already illustrated. This is where we go in, and I'll blur this out. This is where I go in and track all of our revenue. We had the second 50% of a website build project. We had a half of a website sprint that we did for a client in Webflow. We had like 3 months of retainer work pent up. We had a quarterly invoice come due for Webflow maintenance and SEO. So that was nice to get. And all in all, I'm feeling pretty good. We still have about 1.5K even on top of that. So more like 3K closed this month. One just haven't come through. So 20 to 23,000 top line. And I'm feeling a lot better as opposed to last month's. Because you guys go watch last month's, I was a little bit down bad, but that's good. So in terms of actual expenses, again, going back here to Monarch Money, this is it's called a Sankey diagram. It's the allocation of everything that's coming in and everything that we're putting out. So here is the income on the left. We did get our tax retributions. So we overpaid on taxes significantly, and a fee does come with that. But basically we were reimbursed for miles, and I basically took that and I put it right back into the business. So we got about 8,000 recouped from our tax payment, which is not bad, but again, it was mine to begin with. I don't like having the mindset that's just like free money, so we're putting it back in the business, and I actually, as of today, just put it into my Roth IRA. Also set up a solo 401k, shout out to our S-Corp business owners. That was very helpful. But this is probably the most productive part in terms of business finances. Okay, we spent 5.3K on the business. That's a lot. That's more than usual. Where did all that go? And the good news is that I have it all categorized here in terms of our tax deductions and where everything went. I hope the screen share is able to let this be seen. But 2.5K went to business advertising and promotions. We attended a conference, which we will talk about. 1.36K went into contractor labor, so paying Rhoda, Ali, Clark, Eb, and John, who is our new SEO strategist for this month. And software tools, we have about $900 in recurring subscriptions, and I think we can get that down a little bit. We started paying for SE Ranking, which is another SEO tool. Other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot of fluff there, so that'll probably remain current. $200 a month goes to Cohatch, this facility, which right now is very hot, and I know I've been trash talking a little bit, but we love them still. It's okay. Business supplies and expenses, miscellaneous expenses, sometimes that's software, and business travel and meals. So that's the allocation of our finances this month. I have all of the transactions here. Nothing I'll really point out there. Again, business biggest expenses where we did do a consultancy. That's where about a lot of that $2,000 went. As we worked with a consultant this month named Yannick, who is an exited Webflow agency founder, to help us basically assess the business, give us a third eye view, and it was incredibly helpful. And I'll share some of the lessons that I learned here because he gave us a playbook here to kind of assess where all of our revenues come from and how we can better allocate our assets to be more productive business people, etc. So I'll go over that here in a little bit. So back to Notion, let's do a recap. So I have a lot of miscellaneous things to cover, and this is pretty rewarding and cool because I get to share it all with you guys. But starting here at the top, first full month living in the new house, a grind of repairs on top of heavy travel for the conference, and yeah, let's sum it up in one sentence there. But in terms of the wins and losses, closed the biggest month of pipeline in a while. We have, I'm not going to bring up my CRM right here, but we have about 50 to 60K in fairly warm pipeline that could close next month. You know how it is in B2B. It's a long sales cycle. It's staying in it for the long haul, but we have that much in proposed revenue, and it has been verbally agreed to, but I never get excited until that's closed, under contract, and honestly in the bank. So tentatively excited, and these are all a direct result of the repositioning. So these are 3 leads I can confidently say I would not have gotten if we weren't in our healthcare niche. So super stoked about that, but again, I'm not going to get excited. Lead gen efforts. So in terms of feedback from prior episodes, it's very helpful for you guys to learn about what we're doing from a lead generation front in order to grow the business. So a few things that have been working, LinkedIn video DMs. I've had this conversation with a few other founders, but LinkedIn video DMs are doing very good, and they booked me 2 sales calls last month. So, and I can confidently say that they are from the videos themselves. It's being helpful. Usually I'll send LinkedIn video DMs to people that I'm already talking with. And as you can see from the screenshot, I try and send 10 a day. And the bad news about it is that it saves the video to your phone afterwards, but that's a good segue because you always want to be recording these DMs from your phone. The way that it appears in your inbox is very click-friendly. It's very easy to open, easy to engage with. So I usually just say something to the tune of, hey, it's great to meet you, and then continue the conversation in person, articulate my words a little bit, establish a relationship that way. Say, hey, would love to XYZ, get on a call if you want to share insights, connect to someone in the industry. Always looking to meet more people, and you can also kind of throw a joke in there based on how the conversation is going. It's very much a warmer view of social selling, and it doesn't convert 100% of the time to a call, but it's what I've been doing. And once you get over like the first couple, it's you get on a roll. It's actually kind of enjoyable. So been sending those every day. I'm also using the LinkedIn MCP called Voyager, which allows you to kind of automate outreach a little bit. So essentially what that does is you go to the GitHub file and you install the GitHub repo onto your local drive, and it's basically the LinkedIn MCP. So once you calibrate it to your target audience, basically it gets to a sequence where it'll send 15 connects a day, and it has 3 different stages of the pipeline, where it recognizes in your LinkedIn inbox where you sit in each of those phases. I know it sounds crazy, but every morning I just log on and I say, let's start our daily process. It will scan back into its cache to look for the past history of outreaches. And it did a very good job of finding people who were in our ICP. So healthcare marketers in a decision level position, a lot of times recently hired, specializing in pharmacy, med tech, and private equity backed, who some of our best clients are. And it recognizes all of this and it continues the conversation. It drafts the message before you send them. And it has been making it a lot easier to keep up with the outreach grind. So that's how I'm kind of helping to keep the pipeline moving along, which has been helpful. And again, I would have been doing all that manually. So 2 things that have been working from a lead gen front. Revenue picked up after a soft stretch. I already talked about that. So sellability diagnostic. So Yannick is someone who's been in my network for a long time. He scaled and sold an agency called Shadow Digital. Scaled it to, I think, $1.5 million in revenue and sold it to an agency partner of his. And now he is in a buyout period. He works partly with that agency and also helps around with the business, still tries to grow Shadow. But we did a quick sprint, paid him $5K to basically learn all about my business, prompt me to get really into the uncomfortable conversations and talk about what's working, what's not, what our unique differentiator is, why we chose healthcare, and honestly, how we can double down on that niche and grow in the future. And I gotta say, it was very helpful. First of all, I was committed to it because it was such a big investment for me. I'm not usually comfortable making purchases like that. And I invested into it. It was the accountability I needed to look back through the finances and really see where the commonalities were in terms of our best fit clients, the clients that we enjoyed the most profitable projects, and really do intentionally curate more of those. So basically what we realized is we have a roadmap that was kind of the gist of everything that we came to, and we have three different acts, and all these are distilled into actions that are going to help us scale to 500K by the end of next year. And that seems like a bit of a lofty stretch goal. I think it's a bit, I think I can do it. I think I can scale to $1 million by the end of next year, to be honest with you. I really do. And the healthcare niche is part of that. Me getting better and more consistent and feeling like I'm on a direction that is not just on my own senses. It's very helpful, and I'm more inspired to continue the business just because I have more insight into what I'm doing. And I've had a lot of my preconceived notions to be fact-checked by someone who honestly knows more than me. And that's the value in working with someone who has already done what you've done. And yeah, I literally have this that I can go back to and reference. It's distilled into different phases, starting with the most helpful piece is this part right here, so the strategy map. Broken down into my actions into the next 90 days. That starts with demand, convert, and deliver. So improving our SOPs is what this kind of segment of deliver refers to. Convert, so build the offer and path to retainer. Something that we're working on doing a much better job of is making our SEO and our lead gen mandatory after we do a website launch. So really baking that into our core offer. Commit to the healthcare positioning, we've done that. And turn the podcast into a referral partner engine. That is the big goal, and we can do that. Looking back through our podcast, about 80% of our pipeline has come from either podcast guests. This is from the last 2 years. 80% of our pipeline has come through either podcast guests who were on the podcast at one time, who had heard about it, who was referred to from the podcast. That's where the bulk of our revenue came from. And if I hadn't gone back in and actually traced that stuff, I never would have really realized that. So working on making the podcast a concierge experience for our ICP. Again, it's going to look like a little bit of light rebranding, not totally changing the direction, but really focused on creating an experience to where referrals are natural from that. So there we go. This is kind of the diagnostic numbers. So basically you put in a lot of your numbers into a spreadsheet, and it calculates your agency's utility value. And mine was 0 because there was a lot of founder dependency on me. So it's really refreshing and honestly humbling to see that even after 2.5 years of really grinding on the business, that it's actually worth $0. So we've got a lot of work to do, but again, I'm still feeling a lot a lot more confident just now that I have an outside perspective, and it's provided a lot of clarity. So that was a sellable diagnostic. That was a win from this month. 3 big call recordings, big win. Next up, we were featured on the Marketer's Exit podcast with Tim and Tass. That was really cool. Sent that to my dad. He was proud of me. And yeah, these two are awesome. It was honestly the easiest podcast I've ever been on. They are very easy to talk to. I met Tass for coffee earlier this month. Talked about my story, the journey, growth, the hard parts, what's working, what's not. And I never felt like I had to pretend to be impressive or pretend to be someone I wasn't. That was a lot of fun. I need to reshare that on LinkedIn, by the way. It's a good reminder. Other wins, I guest lectured at CCAD. So shout out to Shane Richardson, who I met at a event at Zoco Design a couple years ago. We've kind of stayed in touch on LinkedIn. And I have 2 or 3 meetings set up with some of the students here to just talk career, and I need to get back to a few of them. But I super enjoyed this, just talking about my career and entrepreneurship, kind of similar to Marketer's Exit, but answering some of their questions, and I felt helpful. So that was really cool. I did a workshop with the 10x Solo community. So 10x Solo is a online community that I'm in. It's about a little over 100 members, and I did a presentation on, let me pull up the slides right here, on how to hire and run a remote team. And it went super well. So I basically talked about all the members of the team, Ali, Rhoda, and Clark. Told my story being how I made $10 an hour just 3.5 years ago. Now how I pay people more than that now. Really cool. Really enjoyed this. And that was a big win because I have a slide right here. So the cool part, a web and SEO guy talking about VAs, I have nothing to sell. So it was really easy it's really easy when you're giving a presentation to a group and you're not motivated. You're motivated to look like an expert, but you're not really feeling a whole lot of pressure to over-deliver, position yourself as an expert, kind of just learning and sharing the experiences. So I really enjoyed this, and I kind of took the Alex Hormozy approach of like, hey, I have nothing to sell you guys. My goal with this presentation is that you associate so much value with my name and my brand that you will refer us to clients or just associate that value with us, which would be a good thing in the future. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that. That was a high point for this month. Team is doing well. Dan is doing well on video. We have we're getting ready to release this next week. A video, this is the concept I talked about, I think 2 months ago, creating the boring content that gets you leads. That is what discipline looks like. We made a 15-minute video all about HIPAA compliance on your website. So Dan really cooked with these edits here. I'm going to pull up the draft version because I'm super stoked about it. Yeah, this is the updated one.
In healthcare, few things are more confusing or frustrating than the big, bad HIPAA compliance. Your healthcare organization has a website, maybe.
Yeah, he cooked on this one. We're super excited and stoked to share this. That'll be coming out next week, and I think that'll convert really well. Sharing it on LinkedIn, clipping it up, but I really am loving the video editing process. We're cooking on the podcast as well. The podcast with Max, really love that. Turned out super good, and it was a lot of fun. Client relationships, net on net are healthy. We had one little hiccup with Exact Medicare, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But other than that, good. Personally, I'm feeling pretty dialed in. I'll have a few lapses where I'll slightly binge eat in one sitting and I'll get like tired and exhausted, but I stay within my caloric limits for the most part, and I'm keeping the streak going. That's been a big part of what the 75 Hard Challenge is accommodating for, is just keeping the streak going, not missing a day, and staying accountable. And I realized today I'm going to have to work out it in a golf shirt again, but I'm feeling pretty swole these days, working out in a golf shirt, and that's the biggest I've seen myself in a long time. So I need to work on like my hip mobility and my legs still, but yeah, work in progress. A lot of coffee meetings and new people, which is a big benefit of living on this side of the world for once. Actually living in Columbus. Here's Amy. It was one of my favorite meetings this month. Moved into a new house. First month as an owner. Did a lot of housework. We repainted the ceilings. We repainted the walls. Jackhammered the front porch. Getting ready to jackhammer the back porch this month. And after that, I think we're all set to add in tenants, and then go through the whole process of listing rooms. So that'll be up on the agenda for this month. All of our June meetings and podcasts. So this month, recorded a podcast for the first episode of Allison Dittmer's show. Really excited for that. Tim and Tass's podcast, Marketer's Exit. I was a guest on a show called the Healthcare Go-to-Market Show, which was really fun, cool. Looking forward to seeing that come out. It has not come out yet, but I'll share when it does. I was on my friend Alex Ferguson's podcast. It was more of a video jam session, but shout out to his business, TerraLeap. They're a trusted partner of ours, and it was a great conversation. That'll be coming out next Tuesday on the pod. Coffees and one-on-ones, all my meetings used Codex to connect to my Google Calendar and just look at all the meetings that I had so I can do follow-ups. Chelsea Castle, Amy, Nate, Logan, Catherine, Lane Klein, made a LinkedIn post about that. Brian at Stoffs and Grandry, that was a good one. Again, met Tass. Peter, who is a marketer here in Columbus that I met, super cool guy. Peter Guba, my man, reconnected with him. He lives up in Michigan, but it was a great chat. And I have a weekly recurring session with Chris Lafay. Shout out to Chris, he's the man. Concerns. So diagnostic results, although the process was a win, the result is concerning. To have an agency worth $0 after several years of grinding. It wasn't insightful, it was the hard work, but it is defeating nonetheless. But the good news is that we know the information that we need to do. Conference. So like I said, traveled to a conference at Put-in-Bay, which if you guys are not near Ohio, honestly, I didn't know where it was before I did this either. So it's on the very north tip of the Ohio border. So Columbus is about in central Ohio. Put-in-Bay is north on the border of Lake Michigan, right in the northern tip, closer to Cleveland, near the Toledo area. And that was it was called the WIC, W-I-I-C, We Inspire, Innovate, and Connect. I had been pitched to be a sponsor of the event, and I'm glad I didn't, because that would have been not a great allocation of funds. But I went there, and it wasn't terrible. Travel is always going to be stressful, but I could have done a much better job of engaging, following up with people, being more outgoing. And I get into my head that I feel it and experience it a little bit firsthand, but when you are a smaller business at a conference like this, and you're not one of the private equity guys, or you're not one of the agencies, you're not one of the big budgets, you're not an employee at a company who's there with a big budget, people really don't want to talk to you. It's one of those things too where try not to read too much into it, but if you're the solo, if you're the independent, people don't want to talk to you, So you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt and not let it get you down. And to be honest, I did a little bit. So I could have made that a much better time, but all in all, it was good to get out of the house. It was good to cut my teeth and, learn what that side of the business is like a little bit more. And I've been to conferences before. This is the first healthcare industry-specific conference that I've been to, but it was a great learning experience, something that I will do better in the future. Another concern, pipeline deal being stalled. Again, this is the third month in a row. We've had a $3K a month retainer client that is this close to being across the finish line. We'll meet, we'll get the scope all aligned and agreed upon, and we'll kick it down the road. So we met February of this year, starting Q2, pushed back to Q3, and now pushing back towards September. So, it's one of those things. Could I have been more proactive and following up and getting out across the finish line? Sure, probably. Is that the main reason? Maybe. Who's to say? It's just one of those frustrating things that, you learn as a business owner. Loneliness a little. Right now it's 7 o'clock in the evening. I've been staying here at Cohatch pretty much every night, either here or at Upper Arlington until 8 or 9, and then just coming home and then going to the gym and then going to bed, getting home around 11. I love this life, It is, but there are times where it's like this weekend, going to be staying down here, not going to be going home for the weekend. So it's growing, and I've thought about how intentional I want to pursue a relationship, a partner, and I know there'll never be a perfect time, but I want to bring our clients bags of cash and extract the value from that to be financially successful heading into my 30s. And that is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. Will I regret it? Maybe. I don't know. But we can't roll this dice twice, and we'll see where it takes us. Alrighty, action items and goals. So Recapping on last month, 20K revenue, we reached that. That's a check mark. Closed new project deal, almost. Grow newsletter to 150 subs. I think we did that. Yeah, we did. We're Columbus Marketing Job is over 150 subs. Invest in team, so new high month of contractor labor, weekly YouTube videos, we did that. Life, continue 75 hard, we did. House repairs, walls, floors, and not quite done on the drainage. We did not do the one group exercise session. So pretty good month of goals. That's 3 out of 5 on business and 3 out of 6 on life. Better than usual, better than usual. On to this month, business and life. Do 5 CMO outreaches. I should have talked about this a little bit earlier, but I had so much fun building this. This is the columbusmarketing.org website. So much fun to build. Built the entire sales page for this. Recorded the intro video, got the testimonials from LinkedIn, and built a really nice sales page. I want to start doing outreach for in-person events. I just want to hold like a small event because I said I'm lonely. I want to meet more marketers. I want to be around other high-performing marketers. I have to get over the imposter syndrome of reaching out and setting this event up. I listened to a podcast, James Clear on the Diary of a CEO podcast. Crazy, James Clear, local legend. It's on Diary of a CEO. Unreal. He's probably 10 minutes from my geographical location right now. I'm right here in Easton, Columbus. It's a little bit northeast of Columbus. He lives in Bexley, 10 minutes away. James is going to come on the Marketing by Design podcast at some point. You know, when that day is to be determined, but it'll be someday in the future. And I'm excited for that day. But yeah, sales page, I'm loving this. A lot of work still to be done here, but directionally correct. That's all we can ask for right now. 5 outreaches to set up an event. Launched a 2SP website. We had a meeting with the team today. Their CRM is finally integrated into the website. That'll launch and will hopefully return into a web growth and SEO retainer. Super excited for that. Close our lead that we've been working with. Very warm, big project. Excited for that. Extend more sales opportunities. So something I've been struggling with again, even with the people that I met at the conference. Why can't I extend the invitation to tell people about what I do or offer my expertise in web to them? Why do I view that as salesy? Talking about what I do and helping them through it. I don't know. It's me holding myself back. Great question. Why aren't I being more proactive in presenting collaboration opportunities to people who truly need our services and what we do? So got to escape that mindset a little bit, and we're doing better. Like I said, it's a constant growth experience, constant process. So getting better there. Life goals. Don't break on 75 hard. Ezra, I'm going to beat you. Ezra's in our mastermind community. He's in on the 75 hard challenge. Shout out. I'm going to win. Go to Run Club. There is a Hilliard Run Club that I have not been to yet. Need to go. CrossFit. That is tomorrow morning in Clintonville. They have a free workout at 10 a.m. and I need to go. Finish book. So I've currently been reading the Daily Stoic, which is 365 meditations on wisdom, life, and the pursuit of happiness. I don't think that's the exact subtitle, but it's a Ryan Holiday book. I used to read that. I read that book every day for 2 years. Both of my years of college, I read. It's this book where you read 1 page a day, and it's a Stoic quote along with a brief word of articulation and how you can apply that Stoic principle to your life. I'm almost done with that book. I've been really enjoying rereading it. And 1 meditation session. So I saw a video this week about a guy who used to take 20 minutes every day to stare at a wall. I thought that was good for resetting your dopamine systems, helps with scrolling. I'm not get addicted to that stuff. So I thought that could be a good idea to do. So that's it for June's retro. Thank you guys for watching and sticking around to the end. Highly encourage you guys to subscribe. Appreciate you following along on the journey. Share your wins with me. Email me, DM me on LinkedIn. I want to hear them. And I appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next month for August. For July's retro, but it'll be in August. Oh my God. I'll see you guys next time.